Oh, it's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys, benchwarmers, for tuning in. We hope that your Thursday went well and you're ready to finish off that week strong. If you're going to work tomorrow, good luck to you. I'll be in that same boat. I got today off for the holiday, but I didn't get anything else. So I will be going back to work tomorrow, and I'm excited to get back into those things. But we have plenty to get to, and sports, even though it's the summer and this is kind of the dead period, everybody's on summer vacation in the NFL, so we're kind of waiting to see what's going to go on there. This happened last year as well. I mean, we know why. Caitlin Clark, ever since she was at Iowa, has been the biggest draw. It's almost fair to say biggest draw in basketball. You don't even have to say female basketball anymore. When she returned, there was over 20 million views on that game that she returned. And it's been pretty much the same issue that we've talked about for the last 2 years when Caitlin Clark is in a game. For whatever reason, the WNBA loves the money that they get, love the ratings, but they refuse to call fouls against the players that take cheap shots at her. They let her get poked in the eye. And the Fever have actually listened to us. I'll give them credit because we were saying it last year. You need Udonis Haslem out there. You need somebody that's ready to go throw down in the locker room. And enter Sophie Cunningham, who I didn't know this. I learned this today scrolling through social media. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. So you really don't want to get into a scuffle with her, even if it's Brittany Griner and the size difference there. She takes the girl from I can't remember who they're playing. That's WNBA. I only remember Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, but she takes the girl by the back of the head and she's just holding his chin to her chest. And she's saying, right now, you better get away from Caitlin Clark, and then I get to leave you alone. I am not doing this anymore. I'm not sitting here watching you beat the shit out of the best player in the league because you're petty and you're jealous. That's honestly what I think it's going to come down to, and they'll continue to deny it, but it's hard to deny when there's this much evidence and this much, everybody can see it. It's really not that hard to figure out. And the fact that you haven't been relevant since you got into the league should tell you something else. And your other players need to do what golf did to Tiger Woods. Embrace it. She's making you way more money than you ever would have had. You're flying private now. You don't have to fly commercial. And everybody has an endorsement deal. So how about you shut the fuck up, dribble the basketball, and quit punching this girl in the face? Please. Let's get into episode 235. We got finals to talk about. Stanley Cup champion has been crowned, and we'll get into our top 5 kids shows of the week.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
It's been a good year for Cunninghams in basketball. Cade Cunningham had a really good year. Everybody was loving him on Detroit. Now his wife is the biggest name in.
That's not, by the way, it's not his wife, but she. No, it's not. It's not
dating?
related. Nope, not related at all in the slightest. Exactly.
And why the fuck are they talking about Cade Cunningham talking about her? Because I don't give a shit what Cade Cunningham has to say.
I don't know. There's no relation at all. Trust me. But the fun fact, also Sophie Cunningham, high school kicker, former high school kicker, by the way, kicked for a high school team once when their kicker went down with an injury, and she was 100%. So if there's a team out there in the NFL looking for a high school kicker, I'm sure she can add in on that for 2.
I'm kind of tired of seeing it because we saw the same argument last year going on. Is there going to be any change on how the fouls are called? Are they going to start calling?
No.
It doesn't make any sense. The league, I don't understand what their goal is behind this.
It's the young punk that you try to do it. And look, it's happened to the stars in the past. Like, you look at what LeBron's treatment was in the league. He was punked around. You look at Steph when he was in the league. He was punked around. Like unfortunately, smaller guys and women on the floor try to get punked around because that's all they can do to try to stop you. They try to punk you around and bully you and be physical and slow you down like that. So that's the way they do it. That's how they do it. I mean, like I'm not going to sit here and be like the WNBA needs to put her on a throne and give her a crown and praise her and all that.
Just called general fouls. Like everybody else gets those calls.
It is what it is, but I just see it this way. It's like Caitlin Clark is doing what Lance Armstrong did for biking, what Serena Williams did for women's tennis, what Tiger Woods did for golf. She has made the WNBA mainstream, where there's now accounts on Twitter spoofing WNBA news. Okay, that's when you know you've made it as a sport. Is when when Twitter has there's Twitter pages literally trolling you, and that's when you know you've made it. So look, I it is what it is. I don't see a slight in the problem. I see both sides of it. Look, if I was a veteran in the league, obviously Caitlin has brought a lot of viewership and helped my team a lot, and helped my league a lot, and done a lot of great things. But at the same time, like, it's like the passing of the guard. You don't like back down when a new young buck tries to come and bite at your ankles. You don't back down at all, and that's what a lot of teams and what the WNBA is trying to do.
I get that, but if she's not in the league, you guys would fold within two and a half years.
I wouldn't go that far.
Are you kidding? Yes, the viewership is plus 20 million when she's on the floor. Yeah, they don't even get 1 million people to tune into a game when she's not associated with it.
I mean, it definitely helps, and she's definitely helping. I'm not going to look. There's a lot of talented women, so I'm not going to say. Obviously, the viewership and the mainstream media helps a lot, and when you have viewership, it comes from social media. It comes from having fans, having a strong hold on that, and Caitlin Clark obviously has that.
I would make it so that she's not necessarily protected, but just give her the same calls. Like, treat her, if you don't want her to be seen as a big superstar, treat her like everybody else in the league, and they're not doing that. And I hope that Cunningham doesn't have to get herself suspended, but that's kind of her role. I mean, I know that she can play basketball.
They're relating this very much so to the Golden State Warriors days. Like Lexi Hole was a knockdown shooter who's the 2 guard there for the Fever, and they're relating that her being Klay Thompson, Caitlin Clark being Steph Curry, and Sophie Cunningham being Draymond Green, which I think they like that. I think they enjoy that, being those rules and being that smash mouth team. So,
and Indiana was not good 3 years ago before they drafted Caitlin Clark. That's why they were in the number 1 position to get her. So they've been able to turn themselves around. Like, it's funny. It's truly a professional sports league, but they're just, I think the main difference is in men's professional sports, when people are going after somebody, they don't mince words. Like, they don't say, oh no, I'm not doing that because of this. No, they're out there. Yeah, I took his head off because he's beating the crap out of us, and we have a better chance of winning when he's not on the floor. I poked Caitlin Clark in the eye to see if she can stop shooting 3-pointers from the mid-court. That's what I'm trying to do. I just want them to give everybody the same treatment, and they haven't done that. That also goes for promoting the other players in the league. Like, the reason why everybody thinks of Caitlin Clark when they see the WNBA is because they literally don't push anybody else. Who's actually the best player in the league? Because I know it's not Caitlin Clark. And nobody knows who the fuck she is. She could smack me in the face, and I'd have no idea. I'd just be upset that I got hit. So,
I mean, look, it's a growing sport, so I'm not going to diss the WNBA entirely, because it definitely helps that the NBA is funding it currently. But I mean, look, there's lots of other talent in the WNBA. It's as marketable as it's ever been. I don't think. Look, the marketability of Angel Reese is huge right now. Obviously, it's making fun of her, but like she's embraced the me bounds. She's embraced the first shot misses. Like that's nothing. Like it's sliding towards the way she plays, but we fucking shit on LeBron for 10 years until he got a ring for joining Miami. We crapped on insert name here for not winning a ring and having to go somewhere else to do it, right? Like KD leaving Oklahoma City for Golden State, right? Like it's part of the nature of the beast. So it look, the WNBA is growing fast, and it's definitely helps that Caitlin Clark is at the head of it.
Before we get into the final series, it is your off week for the PLL, but let's talk about the matchup that we had. Utah still is that team. It was a better game, but let's talk about the first loss of the season for the California Redwoods before we get into the rest of the show here.
I mean, we played our worst game of the season so far, and it's only 3 games in, so it could be a lot worse. And like I said, it's good that our goal differential is where it's at right now, because we're still number 1 seed in the Western Conference. That'll change this weekend, unless something weird happens. So, look, the Archers are a good team. They're a championship level team, and we were 1 goal off. And Obviously, we had a couple guys go down with some bad injuries. Shout out Chris Merle tearing his ACL, and hopefully, I can't wait to see him come back next year. That's one of our captains of our team, and short stick DME. That's a stronghold. And then Graham Hostic decided to break his metal shaft across Chris Kavanaugh's head entirely, and got a 1 minute penalty. I'm not going to say it's a bad call, but a 1 minute penalty for a guy's full metal shaft being broken overhead is a little light, is all I'll say on that. Look, Archers are a good team for a reason, and we're an up-and-coming team. We play them 9 times out of 10. We probably win that game. So we made some dumb mistakes, and I think we can do a lot of things better. And frankly, we have a great opportunity next week with the doubleheader to go into the All-Star break 4-1 and still have a stranglehold in the Western Conference. So it's a tough loss, but we're moving on.
It is still really early on in the season. Western Conference, as it stands now, California and Utah both 2-1. 7-goal differential is what separates the Redwoods being number 1. The Outlaws got their first win of the season, as did the other winless team. So no team left in either conference is winless on the season. But Denver and Carolina bring up the bottom of the West, 1 and 2, with a -4 and -5 goal differential, respectively. And Maryland and New York are both sitting at 1 and 2. Maryland with a -1 and New York with a -6. So a little bit of some surprises, but it's not even All-Star break yet, and it's only, a month into the season? There's still plenty of time left.
We're nearly halfway through the season. All-Star break will be July 4th, so we're right around the corner. So,
all right, well, let's get into it because we were waiting to see what was going to happen tonight, and we get more basketball. We both said that the hockey series was going to last longer than the basketball series, and Indiana, they just said, hell no, that is not going to be the case. And now we get a hell of a game in Game 6. Indiana played probably the best that I know. I don't watch a ton of basketball, but that is the best I've ever seen them play. And Oklahoma City didn't bring their defense, and when they're not hitting their shots, it was like, I honestly don't know what the thought process was there. They're not hitting any shots, yet they continue to shoot threes, and they're not a three-point built shooting team. Everybody's just clanking threes off the rim in the first and second half. They end of half, I think it's only the second time of the season, they had 0 turnovers forced by their defense. So Indiana now gets one last Hail Mary chance, but you got to go back to Tornado Alley to get it done.
I mean, we've had it's been a great series. It's been back and forth. Obviously, Oklahoma City had the great Game 5 where Jalen Williams popped off for 40. Tonight he was a -40, so big tournament events there. Look, this is fantastic for basketball. Like this is the second time or third time, since 2020 that we've had a series go 6 games. This is the first time since 2016 we've had a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. And if everyone knows what 2016 was, cover your ears, fat boy fadeaway. It was the 3-1 series that the Warriors lost, right? It's been like you look at last year, Boston handled Dallas 4-1. We handled Miami 4-1. Golden State, Boston, it was 4-2, yeah, but Golden State really had a stranglehold on that series. Milwaukee 4-2, they won 4 straight after losing 2 in a row to start the series. Obviously, Golden State swept Cleveland, and Mercy Rule swept them in 5 games in 2017, and then obviously the 7-game series. So it's been a long time since like we've had a very good NBA Finals back and forth series, and close your ears, Indiana Pacers fans, but this series has been very, very similar to how the Nuggets series went against Oklahoma City, and in so many different aspects, right? Like we go into Oklahoma City, steal Game 1, right? Indiana does the same thing, steal Game 1 on a game winner by Halliburton. Go to Game 2, Indiana kind of falters, and Oklahoma City is able to get back. Game 3. Denver wins, Indiana wins. Game 4, Oklahoma City wins. Oklahoma City wins both times. Game 5, go into Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City puts the brakes on them, right? Comes out firing hot, wins Game 5. Game 6, turn it back around. It's Denver coming back and winning a big game, Game 6 at home. Indiana doing the exact same thing where all things go right? Now Game 7, if the series goes the same exact way, we should be expecting a 40-point blowout in Game 7 by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think this is a tough situation for a young Oklahoma City team to be in, because you cannot waste chances to close out championships. I cannot emphasize enough. You cannot waste chances to close out championships, and they wasted tonight away. They were up 10-2 to start the game. They were firing on cylinders. Indiana couldn't find their shot. And then the lockdown defense and the turnover started filing in, and Oklahoma City had no answer. And we're down by 30 points after at halftime. So it's one thing to be like, you know what, the series, like, it's Oklahoma City just not playing their best. Indiana is one of the strongest, toughest, wittiest teams I've seen in finals history. Like this team just does not know how to stay down. And it goes down to, I'll be honest with you, two guys that have been there, done that, right? Rick Carlisle won a championship 15 years ago with Dallas Mavericks. That Dallas Mavericks team went through everybody of a who's who in the NBA that season. They went through Kobe and the Lakers out coming off a championship. They went through San Antonio with Duncan and Parker in their prime. They went through Oklahoma City with KD and Russell Westbrook. Then they went through Miami's Big Three, right? Rick Carlisle worked with a team that was underdogs that whole time and built them step by step to winning that championship. You see this team? This is an underdog team. This is the 4th seed in the West, or 4th seed in the East, right? A team that was kind of looked to the side, being like, you know what, this team is, they're a good regular season team, but they're really not going to be over the hump. But the tenacity and the depth of the wings and the depth of just playmakers they have in this team, I didn't think it matched up very well when we talked about the series, before the series. I didn't think it matched up very well with Oklahoma City, but it is matching up perfectly. Andrew Nembhard is having a standout series where he's just knocked down shooters and making Shea's life a living hell. Where Oklahoma City is relying on young guys around him to now take that next step. And Jalen Williams did that game 5. And frankly, they're going to have somebody else do that in game 7 because, man, this suffocating defense. We talked about their suffocating defense for Oklahoma City all season long. Indiana's defense is just as good.
There was a little bit of a difference in how they were calling fouls. I think both sides, it was being way more physical. Is there going to be a correction? Because that seems to be what the NBA likes to do. They have a game go one way. There's going to be a lot of backlash. There's going to be a ton of people in OKC whining about how they didn't get the free throw chances that they normally do because you have.
They can't complain about that tonight. I'll tell you that much because they turned the ball over. It was 20-4 on turnovers at one point. They got outscored by 30 points off turnovers. And
so a lot of those turnovers were plays that they were trying to draw fouls. They were trying to draw contact. They're trying to throw the ball around, and then all of a sudden the ball's loose, and TJ McConnell is going to grab the loose ball. And Tyrese Halliburton is going to –
I saw TJ McConnell out-rebound 7-foot Hartenstein and 7'3" Chet Holmgren multiple times tonight.
Not only did he out-rebound them, there was also a loose ball that he crawled – he's 6'1". The guy's 7 foot. He should just be able to go down to his knees and grab the ball. And TJ McConnell's like, no, that's mine. Thank you.
It's a little that and like – it's a guy you don't want to face against, a guy you love to have on a team. And McConnell's a guy that, like, one thing that Indiana showed that obviously there was a do or die game for Game 6. They lost tonight. Their season's over and the NBA season's over and blah blah blah. Right? They were playing with their hearts on the line. Oklahoma City came out like this is their game to lose, and frankly, they don't care if they lose. Right, the Hartenstein is an all-world defender during the regular season. He has been pissed poor this series. He has been switched on to smaller guards and just been taken off the dribble really easily. And Chet Holmgren, who's an insane shot blocker, has really been inefficient because guards have been making him pump fake and getting him in foul trouble. So like the Oklahoma City defense that is so good on the wings and with Lou Dort and Caruso. Has been really neutralized because you look at the way Indiana beats you, right? It is the three-point shooting of Nembhard. It is the dribble and drive from Halliburton, and it's the post-up game from Pascal Siakam. And you look at how they match up defensively. It does not match up very well. Chet Holmgren is having to guard Siakam off the dribble, and he's not big enough and strong enough to do that, right? Shea is a damn good offensive player, but he's been a defensive liability. Defensive liability on Halliburton. They have been doing pick and rolls and running straight at him, saying, please come guard me. Halliburton has been doing that. Nembhard has been taking him off the dribble, doing that. They've really said, we're going to take your best player and pick him apart defensively. And it's really, really worked really well.
I like the way that they played tonight. I don't know if that was do or die, knowing that if your season is over, maybe that's what they need. They haven't really had a situation where it's been do or die because they've done so well throughout these playoffs. And you're getting a little bit of your adversity. You seem that you're standing up to it. Can you do this 2 nights in a row? I know that this Indiana team deserves more credit than what they were seeded. It was like 3 months up until games 4 and 5 that they hadn't lost back-to-back games. So whether or not they're going out and killing everybody every night, they aren't a 79-6 Golden State Warriors team, but they're fucking dangerous. And that's what I think Oklahoma City playing around with that danger. I honestly am starting to think that this series is it's gone the exact wrong way. For all those people that said Oklahoma City set up for a dynasty, the way that this series has gone now, I feel like it might have gone to where they're probably not going to put multiple championships together. They're going to be tired.
I can't emphasize this enough. This is what I said last week, right? There is a better chance the Oklahoma City Thunder don't make the finals next year than repeat as champions. And that's just how good the Western Conference is. If they're in the Eastern Conference, we'd have this different story, right? But they're in the West, where we're literally 1 through 6 in the Western Conference could make a shot and run at the NBA Finals if they get hot at the right time. So it's like I said, the way they play basketball and the way they have structured their team right now, it was sustainable for the long term, for the short term aspect. But at some point, you're gonna like I said, Minnesota's running into this problem. We ran into this problem. Boston's running into this problem. You have to, when you have young guys off the bench start playing like starters, you're gonna have to pay them, and when you have to pay them, somebody's gonna have to get let go. So it's a and that's what this second apron has really done. Helped the NBA a lot. Is like we're gonna have our 5th different NBA champion in the last 5 years, right? 6 years. Sorry, 6 years. Starting with Golden State, going back to back. And we haven't had a team go win 2 championships in a row or win 2 in 3 years or do any of that since Golden State did. So it's really helped the diversity and the depth of the league that we have 2 teams that have Indiana obviously won ABA championships, but Oklahoma City's never won a championship. So it's fantastic for basketball. And this series, like, even though viewership is stupidly down, it's very down. The series has been very entertaining, and real basketball fans are loving this series every second of it because it's been nothing but greatness.
It's good enough that I watched nearly the entire game until it was a 35-point blowout, and my parents wanted to turn on Law and Order instead. So I agree with you that this game has been played very well. Now we get to look towards Game 7 and start thinking about predictions. Is it possible for Indiana to pull this off?
Yes. I look, they're hot as hell. Like the difference between our Game 6 and their Game 6 is they fucking put the pedal to the floor. They said we are fucking coming at you, and you're really not going to be able to stop us. And Oklahoma City had a lot of kinks in their armor shown, and this is one thing that frankly we ran into trouble with is Adelman couldn't make adjustments from Game 6 to Game 7. He said we're running this shit out and doing it again. Rick Carlisle is not going to run the same fucking game plan out there and expect the same result, right? They shot incredibly well. You cannot allow Oklahoma State to get open threes, right? They shot horribly, but you make Lou Dort, you make Alex Caruso, you make Chet Holmgren, you make Jalen Williams make contested threes. You if they hit a contested 3 with a hand in their face, you live and you move on to the next position. They hit open threes and you struggle off the dribble and off of Shea's, and Nembhard has a bad game where he can't handle Shea in front of him, then that's where they will run into trouble. But like I said, I mean, Mike Breen said it over and over and over again tonight. It was like the turnovers is what just made this game out of hand. And like I said, Oklahoma City is a team that is going to slice and dice you. Meaning they will hit the mid range on you. They'll make the smart play underneath. They won't just drill threes after another to really to hammer you down. Right? Indiana tonight, however, was like, you know what? We gave everyone a green light. Obi Toppin was incredible tonight. He hit a couple threes, big time threes to get this game to 30 points and put this game out of reach. Right? Halliburton with the messed up hamstring came out strong tonight. That's another big factor of this game going to Game 7. It's like Halliburton was a game time decision tonight. Obviously, it's the finals. You are going to go. But they related this back to the KD injury back in 2019 when Toronto won.
It's the same exact injury too.
Same
Calf
exact
strain
injury.
to start off. Yeah.
Calf strain and then goes to the Achilles. But the big thing about this big blowout is Halliburton played half a game. Right, he got the whole fourth quarter off. His minutes was already depleted in the first half when they were going on those big runs. They let that second unit really roll. Right, Halliburton now gets 2 more days off. Like this is the freshest Halliburton we'll see going to Game 7, and we know what big shot Bob 2.0 does in Halliburton. So it's look, I'm super intrigued because this Sunday it's going to be I would be very surprised if it was a blowout either way. Very, very surprised. I think this is a knock 'em out, drag 'em out game. Oklahoma City gets a big lead, or not a big lead, but gets a lead because they're on home court and get the home energy. And then Indiana storms back, and then we'll see who closes the game out well. So I'm excited.
It started off that way today. I was on Ohio Sports Talk earlier with Jordan, and it was the beginning of the game. It was 8-2 Oklahoma City, and then from there it was almost like Oklahoma City really they scored. An NBA team is good enough that they continue to score, but yeah, those turnovers, like they were passing, it felt lazy, and it felt. I know that they don't disrespect the game, but I've had coaches that talked about that. I know players and people around professional sports that talk about that. I know that you had another shot and you can win this thing in Game 7. But if you disrespect the game, sometimes that comes back around on you. If you truly it looked like they just took their foot off the gas and started throwing those half-assed passes. And I feel like that it could do some weird shit. Like basketball is a momentum sport, and there isn't much momentum right now. You're going to have to build it. You're going to get a boost because you're back in front of your home fans. Oklahoma City fans are pretty knuckin' futz. So that will be helpful. But I would just worry, I don't know the name of the coach, but that looked really bad at the end of the game. I would not even the end of the game. End of the second quarter, start of the third quarter, after everybody stopped missing their shots, Oklahoma City just looked like, oh, too bad. We'll get it done in Game 7. That ain't no guarantee. That is not a guarantee.
You don't know who's going to show up and who won't show up, and that's the beauty of one game. Right? That's why NCAA March Madness is so much fun because the final you can lose one game and be done, right? So NBA NFL playoffs, one game you're done, right? Like this is such a unique setting, and I'm not going to say they're disrespected, but it's like when you let up off the gas pedal, and this team has not faced adversity that much, and this is the second series they faced adversity, right? Minnesota put up a 40 piece on them. I believe it was Game 2 in that Western Conference Finals. They went on to win 3 straight, right? So it's not like Oklahoma City has not done this before, where they've come back from these blowout games. They've actually probably done it better than most anybody this playoff run. But I cannot emphasize enough how the NBA Finals, I remember specifically like that feeling of back last time I went to Game 7, right? When LeBron and Ty Lue and Cleveland went into Golden State Game 5 and won that game. It really felt like this is going to come back Game 7, right? And all the momentum is Cleveland's hands, because when you fail to close out games, it does something to you. And this is the second failure they've had. Right? Obviously, the Denver series, again, Game 6, and now in the finals, Game 6. Second failure you have. How are you going to respond to failure to closing out a championship when you saw the trophy walking into Indiana tonight? Right? I remember that 2013 finals, right? Famously, they rolled out the Larry O'B trophy with 10 seconds left. Then Ray Allen hit that game-tying three-pointer, and the rest is history. Right? Those are the things that separate the men from the boys and the championship teams from the teams that were almost there. And if Oklahoma City doesn't put up a great performance, just come out crazy in Game 7, they could be one of those teams that were almost there.
Yeah, they might end up on a top 5 list that I want to do a little bit later on in the summer. Before we move off of basketball, since I am mowing and I have a lot more time to listen to the local stations, I have been. And the big question I've been hearing surrounding basketball, I don't believe that the Nuggets have signed a new GM, right? And they haven't elevated the people from within. So there is still the question. It was 9 days before the NBA draft when I was listening to it. It's now, I think, a week away. And there is still no general manager for the Denver Nuggets. What is that telling you? Is this there's a couple theories that I've heard. They're going to go for a big splash. There's somebody, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that works for ESPN that built those Golden State teams, that's been a name I've heard, or just the old school, elevate the old people from within. But they did also just fire their old assistant GM. So there is some change being made. Well, what is this GM situation telling you for the Denver Nuggets?
I mean, it scares the hell out of me, but also in the same spot, we don't have a draft pick. we literally don't have a draft pick. So obviously the scouts do their job and they'll look at, but they're not going to be trading into the draft unless you think that Michael Porter Jr. is worth the first round pick, and some team thinks that. I mean, obviously, look what Desmond Bain got traded for 4 first round picks last week. So it's not that out of the craziness. But I mean, like it is frustrating because I said this before everything started: hire a GM before you hire a coach, because now the GM is going to come in and they didn't pick the coach, they didn't pick that, right. So like, it's lazy and
it's
really
weird too because they elevated Adelman like 2 days after the season was over. They made him the full-on "you're the coach."
It makes sense why the Cronkies have always been horrible running sports teams, and it had that great three-year stretch with the Rams, Nuggets, Avs, and Mammoth. But like it's very frustrating because like I really, really hope that they don't hire internally, because this team needs someone from the outside to look at the overhaul things. Because I'm not saying Jokic is going to leave, but Jokic, there's a good chance he retires early. Okay. And this is the best player your franchise will ever have in my lifetime. I'd be very surprised if someone surpasses him. Okay. He's a top 15 player all time, arguably top 10 all time. He's already top 5 center. Okay. You have to, and I mean have to, figure out a way to optimize this, and sitting on your hands and just rolling the same bullshit out every season is not going to help. So having an outside mind, I don't even care if it's someone not even fucking a big fish in the pond. Hire somebody else from outside just to get an overlook of it all. Be like, you know what? We can do this better. We can do this better. We can do this better. This is how we handle our cap. Hey, let's not sugarcoat things. Also, the individual that I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the individual that they're going to hire, if they hire within, it's going to be the general manager for the Grand Rapids Gold, right? The G League affiliate. He got elevated 2 years ago when Calvin Booth went to the Nuggets. So it's not like he and like I said, handling a G League team is an entirely different world than handling an NBA roster. So I hope to God they figure it out, but I am so worried because, like I said, he doesn't get to pick his coach. He's given a coach, he's given a team. Right? Obviously, you can make moves with the roster, but like when you're a general manager,
honestly, how much though? How many moves are you going to be allowed to make?
I'll tell you right now, we are going to be running the same roster out there next year if we don't get a new general manager from the outside. And frankly, it'll be another second-round exit. That will be a disappointment that this team will be like, we just wasted another Jokic year. And it'll be fucking Peyton Watson. It'll be Jalen Pickett. And it'll be Terry Rozier off the bench going into next year. And we're going to be staring at this like this team just wasted another year.
I'm hoping that things change. I've been intrigued by the guy that they've set off ESPN, but I agree with you. Like companies, organizations.
Doesn't he even want it? Like, the thing is, I don't even know if they're interviewing him. Because,
that's the other thing, because they said Shams hasn't reported anybody coming in to interview for the job, and he's the one guy that would know now that Woj is retired. Somebody's coming in. It seems very strange. Like I don't know how you look at that playoff run and go, Adelman is the coach.
Well, I mean, he outcoached Tyloo, who's an NBA champion coach, okay, in the first round. He did. Okay. And then Jokic carries you to the second round. People too. I'm well aware of that, but this is the first time in NBA history a coach has more playoff wins than he does regular season wins. Okay? And that doesn't go for nothing, but that also goes to kudos to the best player in the world being on a team. So I look that's why I think what's his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But like he like this is why outside guys are hesitant to take this job. It's because you don't get to pick your guy. A general manager or head coach is tied at the hip. At the hip. Like this is why Malone and Calvin Booth got shipped elsewhere. And you think Kroenke learned better, right? That you need a GM and a coach on the same play. So all it tells me is that Adelman is sitting in those GM coaching, GM interviews and making the decision also. And he's going to make a decision in-house too, which is going to absolutely suck too. So it's just frustrating. It's just very, very frustrating because, frankly, you're not optimizing the best player in the world. And like I said, it sucks because you're in the Western Conference with so many good teams. Obviously, Oklahoma City, obviously the Clippers. The Lakers are still going to be good. Like you have a lot of teams that you have to go up against. But if you cannot. And I mean, the Cronkies cannot sit on their hands. Look, the Nuggets could do a very good job of looking at what the Avs have done. Right? Was it the easiest pill to swallow trading Rico Rantanen? No, it was not. The Dallas Stars now have $500,000 in cap after paying Duchesne $4.5 million, and they have 5 free agents they're going to have to let go and just walk unless they trade pieces away for draft picks and get rid of assets. So it is a tough pill to swallow. But when players aren't playing up to what they're asked of, it's time to move on.
We'll see what happens in Game 7, and obviously NBA offseason is what a lot of people look forward to more so than the games being played. So we'll see what goes on there. Looking over to the other sport that is now over. They did make the announcements earlier in this week. Landeskog and I believe McKinnon were chosen on their preliminary.
And
McCarr were all chosen on their.
We had a handful of guys, Natchez and Landy. We had.
I said Landy, yes, but
Landy, McCarr,
I don't count Natchez yet because I need to see what happens this year. I need to know what the real story is because I think people are making shit up whether or not he's actually upset. But that is something that's happened. The biggest thing is that we have our first back-to-back Stanley Cup champion in true full seasons since 2016-2017. I know that Tampa Bay went back-to-back. That was the bubble. That was the year coming out of the bubble. The year after that, when things were as close to normal as possible, they did lose in the finals. Florida did this in 2 82-game seasons all the way through, beating what everybody considers the best player in the world or 2 best players in the world, and they did it this year in 1 game less than they had to do it last year. So Florida, I don't think that they're going anywhere because I think they're going to be able to sign all the guys that they're worried about. All those guys are going to want to stay. Marchand is going to take some discount. I love the thank you Boston chants going on at the Florida Panthers rally outside the elbow room. That makes me happy. But really what this brings up is what Edmonton, what are you doing? You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there watching this shit happen and you're like, okay.
I want to
next year.
I want to give Florida their flowers first because I think this is more Florida than is Edmonton's downfall. Because I kept saying this, Stu Skinner is not a Stanley Cup winning goalie. And you look at the way this roster is built. Evander Kane didn't come out for a handshake line. Made dumb penalties. He spent more time in the penalty box than he did on the power play. Okay? Corey Perry, 5 Stanley Cup losses in the last 7 years. Not a fluke. Right? You're paying Evan Bouchard a stupid amount of money on the back end defensively to get blown by Matthew Tkachuk, who's on one fucking shoulder and played playoff hockey less than 2 months ago in the 4 Nations, basically. Right? Like they're paying guys, and this is the umbrella to it all. You have to figure it out next year. You have to, because 97 is fucking gone. And if you don't figure it out by the trade deadline, you better fucking trade him. Because if you don't get anything back from him and he just walks to just say Toronto, I mean, I know what you're saying.
I could not see him trade one crazy ass fan base for another, but
he's from
makes
Toronto.
Sense that
he could be the face of that franchise. Toronto is going to set up their free agency this summer so that they don't, because Marner's walking. Right, you can save this cap space this summer and figure out how to work those contracts around to have money next year, and Toronto will be able to fork over money. Like you can't let him walk. And he said it in his postseason press conference. It was like, I love this team. I love playing for this organization. We've had the same group for 4 years. It's been a really good run, but at the end of the day, and those are the 4 words at the end of the day. Sorry, 6 words that Oilers fans are going to hear ring in their ears all summer long. I got to do what's best for me and my family. said that, and I quote, said that. If you don't get this man a goalie in the offseason, you might as well start figuring out trade packages. I'll just say it. You might as well, because I've said it. It was, look, Stu Skinner was horrible game 6, right? That one shot on him that just bounced off his chest, and he just let bounce to Matthew Tkachuk on the wing, or it might have been Bennett on the wing. I can't remember what.
No, Bennett shot it, and then it was Tkachuk tried to assist Bennett. Bennett hit him square in the chest, and then Tkachuk is like, sweet.
It's just right there, right in front of him, right in front of him. I like I said, this is why, and Bobrovsky, like I all the tweets and all the videos of saying Bobrovsky was the worst contracts in the world when they paid him 3 years ago, I think it was, from Columbus on that 7-year contract. He looks like a fucking steal. Looks like a fucking steal, because you locked in a goalie that wins big games, that shows up big time. And look, it's something about those Russian fucking goalies. He fucking does it every year. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the fucking lights turn on and all the Russian goalies decide it's time to fucking go, and they just start showing up in the biggest moments, right? Canadian goalies falter, U.S. goalies falter. Like look at the last handful of Stanley Cup goalie winners, right? Bobrovsky. Aiden Hill had Vegas. That was a good year for him. Kemper, Canadian, right? And then you look at Vasilevsky, and then it's like it's a weird. A Russian goalie has won 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups. It's the weird stat, but it's a real stat. And man, if you're Edmonton, you are shitting bricks, because last year you were 1 game away. This year you weren't even fucking close. You made a couple games interesting. You had a couple of overtime game winners, but in the games that didn't go to overtime, you got your shit broken. They
only led for like 35 minutes of the entire series,
and that's
out of
frankly that seems a little high. Frankly,
well, I mean it got to 35 just barely by game. I don't even think they had a lead game 6. Actually, I don't even know what I'm talking about. It might be less than that.
Cooked. They got cooked, absolutely cooked. And and look, if you're Edmonton in the Western Conference with the Stars, with the Avs, with all these teams figuring out slowly the Western Conference, you have to make moves. You cannot run this back and just figure it out. But, I mean, as much shit as we want to give Edmonton, Florida,
Florida, Paul Maurice. I want to bring up the coaches because I think there was a big discrepancy in the coaching this series. Knobloch, I don't know, pulling the goalie in game 5, he was getting his ass kicked. Game 6, the guy that you put in there that you let play – I can't do the quick math. He was pulled with 7 minutes left in the third period. Yeah, you literally let him battle for 48 minutes.
They're down by 4 goals. They kind of had to fucking do something.
I know, but
Maurice coached circles around him. He absolutely did.
And outside of him telling the other coaches not to go through the handshake line, I don't have any issue with Paul Maurice. He's a great interview. He's obviously a great coach. The players love him. I just saw a video before we were going live. He was mic'd up behind the bench. He's like, he's telling Barkov and his line, you guys are going, because we don't get here without you guys. We're down fucking 2-0 to Toronto, and you guys, somebody smashed somebody with a big ass hit, and from there they just were a tear. They're an absolute animal. Ran through the rest of the Eastern Conference playoffs, basically ran through the Stanley Cup Finals as well.
Toronto, you've been mentioned in the Stanley Cup Final. Congratulations.
Yeah, the one time.
I mean, it is very weird how this Florida team is built, because this team is built off of teams getting rid of guys.
Yeah,
literally.
Sam Bennett was traded for a 4th rounder.
Barkov is the only fucking homegrown guy on the whole fucking roster.
Yeah.
Barkov and Ekblad, the two. Ekblad, who's great, who's obviously fantastic.
He's probably done in Florida because his contract is up this year.
So, Marchand, Boston just said, I don't want you anymore. That's wild. Boston. Wild. Bennett comes from fucking Buffalo, where Buffalo has now had a Stanley Cup winner and I believe 5 of the last 6 Stanley Cup champions. So that congratulations to you. Reinhart comes from Calgary with his buddy Tkachuk, right? Matthew Tkachuk, he has become my new favorite player. I'll be honest with you. What I thought Austin Matthews was going to be for Team USA is everything I wanted Matthew Tkachuk. He has become like a guy, and obviously they're in the Eastern Conference, so I could care less. Obviously, when he was in Calgary, I hated him. But like he has become a guy that I'm just like, I love everything about him. I love everything about him. And his brother plays in the Eastern Conference too. So like it's just like watching Matthew just play hockey and the will he has every single time. It is like Matthew Tkachuk plays hockey like he'll never step on the ice ever again. Like he goes balls to the wall every shift. Every second on the ice there. And it doesn't matter if it's banging people or setting his teammates up for assists. Like, he does everything the right way. And
defending his team also, because that's the craziest thing about Florida. Everybody, they're all rats, but they're all rats that stand up for themselves and fight their own battles.
He has been, like I said, he has become one of my new favorite players of watching hockey that's not an Av. And that says a lot because there's not many guys out there that I enjoy watching besides that aren't Avs. So, man, he's been incredible. And like I said, Calgary, I hope that 1 year rental or 2 year rental of who did they trade away? It was like fucking Huberdeau. That 1 year rental, 2 year rental was worth it. I hope that was worth it for that 1 year. Remember when Calgary was the number 1 seed and they barely got by us as the last team in, and then it's just been trade. Obviously, unfortunately, Gaudreau leaves, right? Tkachuk leaves. Huberdeau comes in. Kadri, you're bringing Kadri. He's numbing.
Don't trade the dogs, Nico. Don't trade the dogs.
It's oh man, the Florida. I mean, I know it literally. I mean, as much shit as we give Kadri, don't trade the dogs. Literally makes sense for Florida because literally the whole team is built on fucking dogs and cats to fit in with Panthers. But like literally dogs that have been washed away to the side by teams for whatever reason. Like Bobrovsky, also Columbus Blue Jacket goalie, right? Like a guy that was on some bad Columbus teams, right? And then Florida had Spencer Knight in their system, one of the best goalie prospects, right? And they say, nope, we need an upgrade. And Bobrovsky has stepped in there, and now I'll put him up there with Luongo being the best goalie in franchise history. And frankly, he has 2 cups over Luongo, so I'll give him that nod too. It's what Florida did. It's unheard of because the way they did it.
They're not going to be going. Like I said, I don't think that they're going to lose Bennett. I don't think that they're going to lose Reinhart. I think they will be worse.
I think they lose one of them. I don't think they keep all 3. That's insane.
No, it'll probably be Marchand. Yes, if anybody's most likely to go, it'll be Marchand, and then they'll just
he had a lot of fun. He had a lot of fun going forward. He had a lot of fucking fun.
How much longer does he really want to play? Like, if I'm him, I'll take a 3-year deal, $3 million, stay in Sunrise, Florida.
And Paul Bissonnette Biz said this on Chicklets. It's like that $3 million is not going anywhere with Florida state taxes.
Yeah.
And all hell's gonna break loose in the hockey world if Florida, Tampa Bay, and all these and maybe Texas, Dallas does this too, right? Where they just keep signing guys because there's no state taxes for less money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's becoming a thing. People aren't going to Canada for a reason because half their contract goes somewhere else. Just being honest with you. When's the last time Canada has signed a big name free agent? Seriously.
Free agent? Never.
Free agent. I don't think it's been like the whole eight teams across the board. Whole 8 teams.
For all like 12 years that we've had hockey, I don't think that there's been a free agent that goes to a Canadian market.
Like a big name, right? Kadri was good, but obviously look what he's done in Calgary. That may be the closest thing they've got.
Yeah.
Right. I people are leaving. Marner's going to leave. Right. Matthews is basically already leaving. He's 1 foot out of the door.
I think Brady's going to be if Ottawa turns himself around. Yeah, I can see Brady getting himself out of Canada
and to Florida with his brother. Oh fuck me, that'd be fucking nuts. That's all I'm going to say. Is some of these guys, older guys, Ekblad retires, Barkov leaves, retires. The Tkachuk brothers, the Bash brothers are together in Florida. It's not stupid to think about.
The Florida Panthers set a new NHL record for 3,000 penalty minutes between just the Tkachuk brothers.
I mean, like I'm glad that's in the Eastern Conference because I enjoy the hell out of watching that. But like,
don't go anywhere near my Western Conference, please. I don't need you here.
The difference between what Tampa Bay did 3 years ago now it was, 4 years now it was, yeah. Because we won the Cup 3 years ago. 4 years ago now. 4 years ago now. And what this Florida team has done, it's like Tampa Bay was losing bodies slowly off of those two championship rosters, right? Point was the guy they had to pay, right? They had to get rid of some defensemen. They had to get rid of some offensive pieces. Ross Colton comes to mind, right? They had to get rid of a lot of pieces. Florida's sitting there being like, these guys all want to stay. No one wants to go anywhere else. Like, because the difference between Tampa Bay and Florida is the Tampa Bay guys were young guys, young up-and-comers that were looking to get paid somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Florida is built, the Panthers are built of guys that were thrown to the fucking wayside, literally. And guys that are like, I don't want to get thrown to the fucking wayside and be with a shitty franchise again. Are you kidding me? I don't want to go back to Buffalo. I don't want to go back to fucking Calgary. I'll fucking stay right here in Florida and enjoy the beautiful weather. I don't want to go back to fucking Boston. I'll enjoy the beautiful weather and no state income taxes. So it should be very. I think this offseason should be very interesting for Florida because, like I said, I would be surprised if all three, Bennett, Reinhart, and Marchand, resign. I would assume one of them walks, and it probably will be Marchand.
I believe that NHL free agency kicks off on July 1st. So we will start
2 weeks. Not even.
People, yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's coming up quick. I'm sure people are already, there's going to be handshake deals and people are already tampering. And I know that you're not allowed to talk to anybody, but people are talking now. And then once July 1st kicks off, that's where we'll see. And that's also why I'm sitting here like, thank God we don't have anybody to worry about this year. Like, I know that we have guys that we want to re-sign, but we've taken care of our – yeah, no, that would have been a terrible headache. And we wouldn't have Brock Nelson, and we'd be trying to throw out Casey Middlestat once again at 2C.
Getting that deal done, the Brock Nelson deal, before the Cup playoffs ended, I think it's so massive. I think that helps so much. I really do, because now they can make back-end moves, right? Jonathan Toews is a guy whose name's been floated out there. Possibly the two spots for him is Winnipeg and us. Obviously, he'd be a 4C guy, maybe a 3C on good nights. But you can make a lot of back-end moves and make a lot of secondary moves that now you have your front six and your front four if you re-sign Ryan Lindgren. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with defense. I think EJ is going to be a guy that they look at.
I think he retires.
I think that he's thinking about he's either retiring or re-signing. And
he's not going anywhere else. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he still a 1-year deal in fucking Columbus. I think he's happy to just be the seventh defenseman and play 40 games.
And just be in the locker room. I think that's what everybody wants with him. Be in the locker room. I would love to see what this team can do with EJ and Landy, both like with active roles in the locker room again, because it's been
full
3
season,
years.
Yeah, full season.
4 years since we've seen that happen.
And I guess there's enough. And going to the season with the number one goalie.
Yes.
Right? Like Blackwood played really well all season long and in the postseason. So and
I think he's put himself into consideration for the national team. I think that he's going to be in that conversation to go out there for Canada
Canadian,
with.
Right? Oh, he has so much depth. That's the only problem.
I know, but it's Bennington outside of the Four Nations really sucked ass.
Well, Bennington will be the fucking guy because he won the Four Nations thing just because. And
I just think that we'll see Blackwood there. I think the Avalanche will have more players that get picked for their Olympic rosters, but having 6th on the preliminaries, we do still have talent. I know that the season ended and we were all really pissy and getting rid of Mikko and all of that.
I can't emphasize this enough. We beat Dallas. We beat Winnipeg. And frankly, we pushed Edmonton more to the break than Dallas did, okay? I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Let's move into our top 5. I came up with this one driving down the road, so we are going top 5 kids shows, Nickelodeon, Disney. I know that Cartoon Network also exists, but I really only watched a few of those shows, so that's where my honorable mention will start. My honorable mention, top 5 kids show of all time, Codename Kids Next Door.
That was great. I love that one. That was fantastic. It
was between that and Dexter's Laboratory because I wanted my own laboratory, and I don't know. DD, get away! It's just
Dexter's Laboratory, throwing Johnny Bravo from.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo is a good one.
Powderpuff Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, Powderpuff Girls was sometimes fun to watch. It's just something there. That's what Cartoon Network was for me. It wasn't something that I turned on to watch for the story. It was what I just watched in my free time. My best kid shows, my number 1 GOAT of all time for me is Ned's Declassified. I
Great
love
show.
I love the idea of the tips, like somebody going through it. And now that I teach middle school, I wish that I could just show some of those episodes, because some of the things I see on a daily basis, I'm like, there's a Ned's episode that talks all about that. Plus, around that time, Mose, I was I was in love with Mose. I know that he had a crush on the other girl. Mose was my number one from the beginning, and I remember specifically, like, you don't do it too much anymore with the streaming, but I was like yelling at my family, like, guys, it's the series finale of Ned's in an hour. I'm going home. If I have to start walking, I'll start walking, but I'm watching this as it premieres, and I'm seeing how this story plays out. So Ned's Declassified has a very special place in my heart. That's my number one. My number two, Avatar: The Last Airbender. This one got moved up a little bit recently because I'm a big history buff and I like politics.
I still need to watch that.
You haven't watched it?
No, I've been knee deep in a lot of other things. So
yeah, that's a good. I really like that one. And Korra's not.
I watched the cartoon back in the day, but the live action one is the one.
Oh no, I haven't watched I don't watch the live action. I only watch the cartoon.
That's fair. That's fair.
The live action one was okay, but the cartoon is way better. It makes more sense with the bending. But Avatar, that was something that I watched with my younger brothers. That was something that we really enjoyed. Same as my number three, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. We all have special handshakes because of the handshake that Dylan and Cole had. Yes, that's Zach and Cody, if you don't know. Dylan and Cole Sprouse. I also, for like a good 3 months, can we live in a hotel? Mom, can you be a ballroom singer in a fancy hotel? Can we live in a hotel?
Oh my gosh! Look, I like to differ my list from you. I know you like to as well. This would be number two for me. To be honest with you as well, because of how good it was. But man, I can watch it today and just throw it on the background and enjoy it still. Like it was such what those two did as a kid. Kids were awesome, and obviously Ashley Tisdale was a childhood crush, so that also fit in pretty well for me.
Yeah, she's also on that list. Mose and Ashley Tisdale, especially in that one. I didn't like her as much when they made her mean in High School Musical. Phineas and Ferb, I still know almost all of the songs that they came up with.
New episodes coming out, by the way.
I'm excited. That might be a brain break that I start throwing out there for my classes, watching a little bit of Phineas and Ferb, or at least the songs, but Gitchy Goo means that I love you. Bow chicka bow wow. I can't help, like, I'm 27 years old and I will be watching the new series.
It's a lot funnier than we remember, by the way. I'm serious. Like Phineas and Ferb, like the Perry the Platypus stuff gets a laugh out of me every single time. There's like, a platypus? You're a plumber?
Perry the Platypus.
It's still.
You good like as a plumber?
It's still funny. It's still hilarious to me. It's a lot funnier than we think. So,
last one is, again, because I know that we could have been similar. I was gonna put one that you'll see on your list. I will give an explanation if you want to know why it's not on my list. But That's So Raven was a lot of fun for me, because that was like, I'm not quite that old where I watched the entire thing, but that was what set up all my favorite shows that I like to watch on Disney Channel. Was like That's So Raven into Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and then finish up with Phineas and Ferb. So That's So Raven was like the start, and I did enjoy it. It was funny. I also kind of liked Corey in the House until the guy who played Corey got arrested and into some wild stuff. That's the fun part about these lists. How many of the people that we're talking about are still not drug addicts?
I will say, to anecdote, That's So Raven, Mike honorable mention fits into that. Hannah Montana. I'm sorry, I watched it. I loved it. I don't tell you.
I also watched it.
The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, or That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, with all three of them, still one of the greatest crossover episodes of all time. I'm talking all time. Like that. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I like that one, and I'm also gonna, before I forgot to mention it, but the Halloween episode of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, I've never been that scared.
Yeah, that made me hate ghosts for a long time. Still do.
Nobody calls Esteban Julio Macarena.
However, you missed the greatest, the GOAT.
I didn't miss
Number one, I could have put 1 through 5. All of it. I could have put 1 through 5. Every single one could have been SpongeBob. That is the fucking GOAT. I will have no other slander for SpongeBob because that is the motherfucking GOAT. This man, that little square sponge that lives under a sea is does wonders on me still to this day. Okay, the wittiness, the funny one-liners, it is fucking hilarious looking back on old episodes of all the sexual innuendos that you missed.
Yeah, we shouldn't have been watching this shit.
We should not have been watching that stuff, and there's reasons why some parents didn't allow them to watch it. But like, this is the fucking GOAT. I had probably 5 birthday parties from like age 4 to like age 9 of just straight SpongeBob. Like, I'm serious. My parents asked me, "What do you want the theme to be?" SpongeBob. I still remember the SpongeBob fucking banners that my parents used every year. The theme stuff. Oh, SpongeBob was the GOAT. I couldn't get enough of SpongeBob. Oh, easily number 1 for me.
Yeah, no, I love SpongeBob. I like it's funny too because all the kids that I have in my class, I still will see a hash slinging slasher shirt walk into class every now and then.
Legend. Oh, that episode. All-time favorite SpongeBob episode. I'll let you go first because I got a couple.
I like the one where he can't pass his driver's test.
Yes, with Miss Puff and
Puff.
running stuff over.
Yeah,
I loved all the Man Ray stuff, and I love like the episodes where Man Ray and Bart.
So this is your wallet. Nope. Is
your name Patrick? Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Patrick Star.
Nope.
Yes.
that stuff killed me to this day. So that could have been 1 through 5. I almost did it, but for the sake of the list and bringing respect to the list, I'll put 4 others there. 4 others there. Okay. Number 2, Drake and Josh. I love Drake and Josh still to this day. I've watched old episodes back. Drake and Josh. I think I got to throw this in there too. The Amanda Show. Those were like those are my one. I loved watching both those two together. Like I said, it's very unfortunate everything that's happened after it, and hearing about all the stories of what Drake went through all that. And what Amanda Bynes went through, obviously with the Amanda Show, with the horrible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to HBO Max and watch the documentary.
Behind the curtain or something like
that. It's very chilling. But it's and one of the reasons why I still like the show was Drake talked about it after and was like being on the show with Josh gave him a break from everything because he got to be himself, and that's why I like it. Still number 2 for me.
That was the only time that he wasn't feeling like prey. Like that was the only time he wasn't being preyed upon. And that was why I didn't put Drake and Josh on my list, and I also thought that you would have it up there.
Exactly. And number 3, Fairly Odd Parents. There was a point in my life where SpongeBob. There was a phase out of SpongeBob, and then it went directly to Fairly Odd Parents. I want to say age 10, middle school. When you went to Nestle Classified, I went to Fairly Odd Parents. And I remember the crossover shows with number 5 on my list. If you're looking at it, I won't get that point. Jimmy Neutron. So I'll tie those 2 together. The Fairly Odd Parents show and everything made you want to have magic, made you want to think that all these otherworldly things are happening and have so much fun with all of it. And Jimmy Neutron also plays into that, which is number 5 for me. Jimmy Neutron, it was, like I said, it was fantastic. All the science, all the funny stuff back. Carl Weezer, the funny memes about him and Jimmy's mom is fantastic. I think it's hilarious. Sheen is still funny to this day. Overlord, everything from Jimmy Neutron was great. And then you had Sweet Life, Zach and Cody. I put Sweet Life on deck. I had to throw it on there because I still like the second season when they were older. Debbie Ryan was also one of those other childhood crushes. I'd like to think I was Cody and the nice, calm one, and went on about life that way and getting Debbie Ryan and that was that. So that's number 4 for me. Jimmy Neutron number 5.
She was up there. That's the crazy thing. Like going back and seeing the kids shows that they put out now, they definitely do pick ones that they think kids are going to fall in love with because I'm thinking about it too.
Oh yeah.
I love Sabrina Carpenter now, but I originally fell in love with Sabrina Carpenter when she was on Disney Channel in Girl Meets World. That was.
I'm not going to go that far because she was a little younger there, but I will say
we were the same age.
Oh, that's true. I guess they do cast those people older. I know the one in honorable mention that if you are a weirdo like me, I love this show and it was so good. The Naked Brothers Band.
Oh
yes. You know. You know. I had that album on replay. It was so good.
Crazy
Train. Oh, car. Like crazy car. So I had to go out. I literally had the disc. I remember that was one of the first discs I got. My parents were like, why do you keep singing these songs? And Rosalina too, like all of that, everything. Like
that was the first one.
That was another one. Like they're all there. I'm sorry, we were little childs. I don't know what to tell you, but like it was so good.
She keeps resurfacing in like reality shows, and she looks exactly the same. Just now, obviously, now we're all grown up, and maybe she'll go on a date with me like I wanted to. When
you don't know what we're talking about. Any of these shows, you first of all are too young, and you need to go back and watch the old stuff because the old stuff's better. Or B, you need to educate yourself.
I think that everybody should go and educate themselves.
If you are a individual under the age of 30 and you have not seen one episode of SpongeBob, you are not living. I will say that right now. You are not living. Not living.
SpongeBob is a classic, and it's still iconic for a lot of reasons. Wrapping things up, player, and bench warmer of the week. We will start with player of the week. Who do you got?
Player of the week, I threw in Sam Bennett. I mean, 15 goals in the playoffs, crazy number. 22 points in the playoffs, consummate winner. I think he deserved to throw it in there. Obviously, the NBA playoffs still going on. Halliburton is playing well. Jalen Williams is playing well. I'd throw the consummate winner in there because Sam Bennett was just incredible all playoffs long and really took that 1C role. And it's crazy. Like, I remember seeing all the stuff about how, like, he was under guys and not really contributing because there was guys ahead of him that weren't as good, and he got an opportunity in Florida, and he really ran with it, and he will get fucking paid. He will get paid. If he takes a homecoming discount, good for him, but I think he's going to get paid.
Yeah. I think that he deserves it, and it's also the first Conn Smythe winner that's on Florida in these last 2 Stanley Cup championships, so he deserves the credit for that. I'm going baseball because I had to talk a little bit of baseball with Jordan. He likes the Reds, so we were doing that. But Ronald Acuna, it's nice that he's back from his injury. And over the past week, he has a .619 batting average, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. It's not crazy numbers, but I want to point this out. People who are in the Hall of Fame normally have about a 300 batting average, which means 7 out of 10 times you are getting out. So if you have anything over 300, let alone something over 500, Acuna is just—
you're playing video games.
Yeah, he's always on the game. He's always on the bases. He will never not be on the base paths because you can't get this guy out.
He's been great. And I believe he's come back from injury too, so he's been great so
far. Play of the week. What do you have for play of the week? I'm not
okay. Well, you talked about her in the opening segment. Kaylee Clark hit 3 logo threes, not in one game, in the span of 3 possessions. I mean, I was just watching. I was like, you're going to let her pull from the logo once, not twice, 3 times? I was like, oh, boy. And this was like after.
You're not going to close out?
You're not going to close out on her? What are you doing? Like, this is it's like watching Steph Curry be wide open for a 3-pointer. It's like, what are you doing? Like, do you think she's going to miss? Because she's not going to miss.
I love all of the social media videos where it's guys like super cutting together, and it's and then just throwing it with their feet, bouncing it off of anything, the shovel, and it's like, chung, chung, chung. What is going on? I'm gonna shoot her. If I shoot her, she can't score anymore. Hopefully, we'll see. My play of the week, I have another baseball. Denzel Clark. Denzel Clark robbed a home run. It's always fun to see those. It's weird doing this segment, not being able to show the plays anymore, but YouTube is weird like that. So, yes, just take my word for it that it was an awesome robbery. And if you need to, look up Denzel Clark, outfielder for the A's, and he had a really good play this week. I'm going to go bench warmer first because I saw your picture that you sent me, and while, yes, it is true, we're going to need to discuss that because I think we'll be on the same side. Brett DeGoose, he is my bench warmer of the week. Currently with a 7.39, he is the highest of all relievers ERA-wise, which is not good. You need a low ERA to be good. He has the highest ERA of all relievers in the month of June. That's American League and National League.
And anyone that's not a Rocky.
They've been winning.
5 more in a row. They're
on a streak.
They may not be the worst team in MLB history, is all I'm going to say, because they're doing some
I got drafted there in MLB The Show, Nico, and we cannot go higher than 500. It's so bad. I hit 4 home runs, and I'm a closing pitcher. I have 30 saves a season, and we don't win more than 50 games.
I kind of wish that they were the worst team of all time. It's not fun when they're just like, eh.
Yeah, now what are we going to talk about? We have nothing to talk about for them. We just
can't even do that right. My bench over the week, we have tiptoed around talking about this for a while, and it is one of the biggest offseason stories in the NFL. And it is the Cincinnati Bungles doing Bungles things. Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick 17 overall. Pretty good talent out of Texas A&M. Jimmy, how many sacks did he have in his career at A&M?
He shouldn't have been drafted 17 overall.
Four sacks, by the way. Four sacks in his career at Texas.
Because he's lazy and doesn't go as hard as he can.
No, not one game, just 4 sacks in general. So he is currently not signed, by the way. Yeah. Not signed. Actually, he's not even in the building anymore. He has left the team facilities due to a contract dispute. Yep. And do you want to hear what the Cincinnati Bungles have done to this poor man? They drafted this man in the first round. By the way, if you draft someone in the first round, what does that mean, Jimmy?
That he's playing and you're on the team no matter what.
You are playing and you are going to be a significant contributor this next upcoming season. Unless you are drafting 32, 31, or 30 overall, you are expected to be a significant contributor to this team. They have decided, you know what? We don't think you're very cool off the field. You know what? You have an injury history. We're going to throw in a little wording in your contract here where it says that there will not be fully guaranteed money in your contract if you get penalized for something off the field or if you get penalized for something on the field even. This is the only draft pick in the last 30 years has been drafted in the first round that's had this wording in his contract. The only guy. The only person. And there's nearly every single draft pick has already been signed in the first round, right? I think Johnny Byrne is the one missing still as well, but he was practicing at OTA. Shamar Stewart said, I'm not fucking going on the field. And I don't blame him. And now you're running into a situation where Shane Henderson is still waiting on a new deal, right? He's waiting on a new deal. He already said, trade me if you're not going to re-sign me. Those talks have gone nowhere. You now drafted his replacement, who, by the way, will probably be sitting out this upcoming season and be in the draft pool next year. And that's who you drafted in the first round, by the way. The guy, the best player in the draft class is supposed to be. And he won't even be on the roster. I am sorry, Jimmy. Hate to break that news to you.
You're not breaking any news to me.
If I'm Joe Burrow, there's a lot of red flags being popped up. And I know he signed a fat contract. But the more and more this goes on, the more and more I realize, and I feel like, fortunately, Joe Burrow might have to leave to win a Super Bowl. It's a bad situation. I am sorry to break the news to you, but if this continues for the next 4 years of his contract, why would you resign? You want to gyp my teammates out of contracts? And Joe Burrow has also came out.
They're gypped out of contracts because of the fucking absurd number that they put on his deal. That's why they're gypped out of fucking contracts. So if he decides to do that, I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
but also, and this is not news.
Also, Jamar Chase. It's all those posts. Remember all those Twitter posts from Cincinnati Bengals Twitter that said they'll never be able to re-sign everybody. Hey, you're hyping them up, right? We were able to sign everybody. We got both of our guys back, and then we're paying a number 2 receiver, like a number 1 receiver salary, and the number 1 sack leader in the NFL last year is sitting out. Oh wait, our first round pick that we're going to replace him with is also not going to play. It's why the Bungles are the Bungles, because they continue to do dumb things. You were 1 win away from a Super Bowl, frankly, a couple plays away from winning a Super Bowl, and frankly, it is a joke that you haven't been back to the playoffs since.
We have been back to the playoffs since we went to the AFC Championship the season after.
Sorry, you're right. Missed the last 2 years of playoffs. So made it 1 year after, but missed the next 2 years with Joe Burrow in the middle of his prime. So
yeah, no. And here's the thing: I hate this not because I don't expect it. I hate this because then everybody wants to come around and tell me how shitty they are when this is not fucking news to me. None of what you said is new. You didn't break shit.
I know. I'm not. I'm
I know.
I'm speaking to our listeners, literally, because I want to make sure they know.
That's the shitty thing, is that I'm sitting there watching Pardon the Interruption, and Michael Wilbaum, who I don't think has talked about anything Cincinnati, is now all of a sudden pulling out these stories. I used to go watch them practice under the overpass. We know they practice under an overpass. We know that. We know that they're stingy. We know that they don't sign anybody. We know that they're fucking everything up. All right now. It is a total nightmare scenario. Disaster. Couldn't have gone worse. And all you're doing right now is you're pissing off your draft pick, and now they've gone back to negotiations with Hendrickson, and they're going to do negotiations with Hendrickson till they piss him off again, and then they're going to go back to Stewart and go, "You ready to sign yet?" And
it's just it's like I went to Post Malone on Sunday. He said, "What's Post Malone's favorite shape?" A circle, because everything is just a flat circle for the Bengals. It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It really makes me like think that the Steelers and the Ravens aren't as good as organizations as they are. Because frankly, when the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals are in your division, it is very easy to look great. It's very easy to look that good.
And funny enough, now that even though this is happening with the Bengals, the Ravens and the Steelers are both talking about getting rid of their very successful coaches. When I was talking with Jordan, I said, this goes back to them keeping Marvin Lewis for as long as they did.
Keeping it all.
Hiring Zach Taylor and then giving him the mulligan. I'm just so sick of it because they're not helping themselves either. Like the offensive coordinator has come out recently and said, well, we'll just score 50. That don't fucking work. How did that work out last year? We were sitting in the Vegas casino, and I saw on the screen, we lost 13 games, scored 35 points. Only team in NFL history to do that. So obviously outscoring people is not going to work. How about you keep your fucking mouth shut and let's work on the offense? You're a first-year coordinator. I need to see what you're going to fucking do here.
It's wild that it's crazy that defense wins championships. It's not just a saying. One of the best offenses of all time, the Denver Broncos, got absolutely fucking throttled in the Super Bowl. 3 years later, one of the best defenses in Broncos history comes back, and they dominate one of the best offenses in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. It's like I said, I don't need to preach to you. You already know it, but it's just ridiculous that an NFL team operates this way.
All this is doing,
I'm serious. Has this ever happened before? Maybe the only other time it may have happened was a guy had to go into the military in the 1940s, maybe, where a first round pick said, I can't play. I'm serious. I don't think
it's never
happened in our lifetimes.
It's never happened before, but it is on the. If he doesn't sign a contract, he re-enters the draft pool. He won't get drafted 17 overall because I don't think that he should have gotten drafted 17 overall this year. There's a reason why nobody wanted him, and it's because he's lazy and he's going to bring a negative culture into this team that already has the shittiest culture from the top down. It's all this is doing. All they're doing is just, instead of being a Bengals fan, I'm just a football fan. And now it's just going to be something to talk about because how much can you ruin? How much can you screw up?
It's what the Rockies have done to baseball for me. I'm a baseball fan now. Literally, I literally just can't deal with it anymore with the Rockies, and I'm sure you're probably getting to the point with the Bengals.
I don't even have my superstars drafted to the Bengals anymore. I just get drafted randomly, and if they draft me to Cincinnati, I get myself out of there.
Yeah, that's for trade because you're probably not going to get paid online either.
They won't. They won't pay you. The Rockies either. I've been asking for a trade for the Rockies for the last 4 seasons. They won't let me go. I got nothing else for this week. I got to get back on the mower tomorrow because my company decided to only give us the 1 day off. What else do you got for everybody as we head into the weekend?
I mean, look, it's a bye week in Baltimore for me. There's great games this weekend. There's a lot of, and Maryland home weekend. Thank God I'm not in Baltimore because last year it was a disaster of a weekend for me for a lot of other reasons. And so I'm happy to be home and I'm going to try to get some fishing in and go see some movies or something or do something in my free time. So, like I said, it's summer break. And with the NBA Finals finishing up, don't worry. We'll get into NFL talk here shortly. So we'll get to NFL talk. And we have lots of other things to do.
College football playoff is expanding and NIL is changing. Diego Pavia gave us headlines for days from his most recent podcast interview. So
Shador is drove 102 down the Cleveland Freeway. Zach Edey is driving a Prius and going 100 miles per hour in a 55. I mean, it's the offseason.
Who's that Edie?
He's the tall guy that would play for Purdue, who was on the Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah. No,
he's driving, by the way, a Kia Altima. The guy is 7'5". I don't think anyone in the NBA in general, like I'm serious. If you polled the NBA players what cars they drive, none of them are driving a Kia Altima. So, because that's probably a fine as it is, let alone driving 50 miles over, just like him and Shooter did.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That came out on the same day that Ruggs got the special release to go make his speech. And now I'm starting to see the question being floated. That'll probably be a topic we have to discuss. Should he get another chance and everything like that? But leaving it on a better note, we do have a Stanley Cup champion. We will have an NBA champion by the next time you guys see us, and we'll be full into the summer. Nico will be getting ready to go back out for PLL season. Make sure you check out the games if you got nothing going on. Saturday, New York versus Philly, and Boston versus Maryland. Sunday, Utah versus Denver, and Carolina versus the Whip Snakes to close out Maryland's homecoming weekend. So lots of things going on. Baseball's right in the middle of everything, and we'll be there to cover it all. But I think that's it. Episode 235 for myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Nico Bryant. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit